Hey guys, John here again, and today I thought we'd take a quick look at the Gravity Rush 2 footage that was just released this week. The original Gravity Rush, or Gravity Days depending on where you live, was kind of an experimental game, and we think that it's great that it's going to get a second chance on PlayStation 4 with Bluepoint's upcoming remaster. But really, it's the sequel that we're more curious about here, as it gives the team a second chance to finally realize its full potential. In moving to PlayStation 4 then, it's clear that the visuals are one of the key areas that will be massively improved. We've heard a number of comments from others suggesting that this isn't a huge upgrade over the original, but really that's just not true. To start with, Gravity Rush 2 delivers a full 1080p presentation here, a far cry from the 720 by 408 resolution of the Vita original. It looks like we're seeing a post-process anti-aliasing solution as well. There's plenty of subpixel shimmering evident throughout the scenes, but overall, it looks pretty clean, especially compared to that original. There are a number of shots in this video that actually give us a peek at the game's texture filtering as well. As you can see here, when the camera levels out, the ground textures use a suitable amount of texture filtering. It's difficult to say exactly what level of filtering we're seeing here in this compressed video, but it looks to be at least 8x. Compared to the trilinear filtering used on Vita, this is a really nice change. But of course, those are really the natural changes that we'd expect in a PS4 game, right? Well, there's a lot more than that to cover. Clearly, we can see that the environmental details have been pushed out tremendously. Structures are more detailed across the board, and there's just a lot more happening on screen at once. Of course, while flying through the stage, we did note a bit of pop-in present at this point. Watch here as Cat zooms forward. See the objects drawing in right here? It's less noticeable than in the Vita game, but it still has the potential to be distracting when flying rapidly around the world. Thankfully, it does seem that objects present in the immediate area around Cat do remain visible during combat, so at least in those moments, it really shouldn't be too distracting. We'll see. Of course, all of those objects actually serve more of a purpose this time around as well. Everything you see here reacts to Cat's actions, so when the player plunges down into the middle of the square, we see objects break apart and go flying all over the place. The rigid body physics implementation here seems to work pretty well thus far. Sure, objects clip through characters, and the debris disappears a bit quickly, but overall it's shaping up to be pretty cool. You might also remember from the original game, any characters or objects like a park bench caught within Cat's stasis field are tossed into the air as she ascends. Here we see the same thing, but with all the surrounding objects flying upwards with the player as they launch into the air. Even Cat's hair and clothing move more realistically this time. You may have also noticed that shadow map quality appears to be relatively clean at this point. They seem to be using cascaded shadow maps, and the quality at close range remains pretty sharp. And the fall-off distance doesn't appear overly aggressive either. We were a little bit confused by this artifact right here, but as it turns out, that's actually just part of the object to which the shadow belongs. Really, it looks like we have a pretty beautiful looking sequel being made here. With the original Gravity Rush being built using Fire Engine, it stands to reason that this sequel is also being made with that engine as well. We've already seen a number of PS4 games utilize this engine with varying degrees of success. Dark Souls 2, Bloodborne, Secret Ponchos, Journey, and more were all built on this foundation. Okay, so we're not usually in the business of discussing gameplay, but we're big fans of Project Siren's work, and we really hope that it can deliver on the potential of this series. Looking back, Siren 2, or I guess Forbidden Siren 2 as it was known in Europe, was a tremendous improvement over the original game. It felt as if some of the ideas that didn't quite work out in the first Siren really came together to create one of the most memorable horror games from the PlayStation 2 era. Then on PlayStation 3 we had Siren Blood Curse, which was a solid game as well, with a wholly different design. Maybe we'll see the same evolution here. Of course, Gravity Rush is a different animal altogether. The gameplay mechanics are wholly unconventional and extremely fun, but the first game fell into the typical open world tropes, which kinda limited its potential. So with this video, we actually see some pretty significant refinements to the gameplay, but what we're really most curious about is how well the game itself will be strung together. With a stronger story-based progression, improved level design, and enhanced controls, there really is a lot of potential here. Anyway, that wraps up this video for us. If you enjoyed this type of smaller analysis content, be sure to let us know. And as usual, feel free to subscribe to our channel as well. Anyways, that's all for now. This is John signing off.